Welcome back, everybody. I'm so excited to introduce you to our next spotlight speaker. His name is Jamal Berradia, and he is currently retired with an amazing career journey that he's going to be sharing with us today. Jamal is based in Spain. However, he does live in Dubai, and he commutes between Spain, Dubai, and his home country in Morocco. With a fascinating story right at the beginning of his career journey, when he goes back to his early teenage years, Jamal remembers how he was fascinated by the sciences, most particularly physics and maths. A graduate of engineering, and then went on to pursue a career in manufacturing, and eventually went into human resources in Procter Gamble, where he stayed for 35 years of his career. Welcome, Jamal. Welcome to our desk spotlights.
Thank you, Maria, and thank you all for giving me this opportunity. It's always a pleasure and fun to speak to students. Obviously, I was a student also myself, and I can say these are part of my best moments in my life as a student. As Maria said, I am originally from Morocco, and spent obviously my first 18 years in Morocco, especially in Casablanca, where I had my high school degree in a French school called the Lycée Lyoté, which is very well known in the French system, and fascinated by mathematics, physics, and having high capabilities in maths. I was having two choices: either be a pilot, plane pilot, and that was fascinating for me, or do engineering studies. Because of the limitation from a family standpoint and also from a career standpoint, I opted not to go for pilot and went to France to do 5 years of studies and graduated as a master of chemical engineering from the University of Lyon and University of Nancy in France. At that time, my specialization was water treatment. So I came back to Morocco, joined first a national company for 1 year, the phosphate company, and then joined Procter Gamble in manufacturing. And frankly speaking, except from the fact that P&G had a very good reputation as a multinational, I had no clue where I am heading. I had no clue of how my career will be. And frankly speaking, I would have never imagined leaving again Morocco. I was a student for 5 years in France. It was not easy for me, especially when you don't have sufficient financial means. And therefore, for me, leaving Morocco was no question. But then, as I started to realize that I joined a multinational, a multinational that I loved very much, and I loved it very much for several reasons. One is a very principled companies with high values. The standard of selection of the people were high, and therefore you deal with outstanding people, high quality, and you get developed, you get training, you get challenges, you get chances to show what you can do, and you are stretched, challenged every day, and that I loved. So I stayed initially in this company. My dream was to be a leader in operations, which I got only after 3 years and 8 months. The standard is after 5 years. I got it after 3 years and 8 months. So I reached the day the dream I had when I joined very quickly. And this is where you start to say to yourself, well, you know, this is a company where there is no limit. The sky is the limit. And at one stage, I realized that in order to continue to grow, you need to start thinking and preparing yourself for an international career.
That's amazing. Just before you continue, I want to kind of go back a little bit, just back to when you decided to become an engineer. You said you had two choices and you made the choice that you made. How do you go from engineering to becoming a HR professional?
Yes, I'm coming to this. In fact, after about 7 years in manufacturing, I was head of operations in P&G, and head of operations means you have all the departments that include production, quality control, logistics, maintenance, and I had about 700 people working for me, and I had about 10 engineers reporting to me. And frankly speaking, what made me move to human resources are several factors. But I would say, and this is important for you as a message as students, go for what you have passion for. And in dealing with engineers, dealing with technicians that I had, I found out that I was always very excited, happy to deal with people issues, organization issues. The technical issues, it's 1 + 1 = 2 at the end. So you get the challenges, but the challenges are repetitive. The challenges of people and organization matters are not repetitive, and they are not 1 + 1 = 2. So they are very challenging, and that excited me. And I talked it with my leaders, and this is the beauty in P&G. So I talked it with my leaders, and they said, listen, we can offer you a move to human resources for a trial, for a test. And we need somebody like you because you have an experience of managing people, managing unions also. So it's a win-win. And after 7 years, the move was possible, and they were planning to replace me with an expatriate that would come. But then at that time, the Gulf War started. That was in the early 90s. So the deal I had with the company, I was doing 2 jobs. I was doing my job of operations of manufacturing because they couldn't bring an expat from outside because of the Gulf War, and start to do HR work. And after a couple of years, I became the head of human resources for Morocco, and the expats came and took my job in manufacturing. So that was the reason I moved to human resources. And then, after 3 years of human resources, the company had a career discussion with me. And they told me, okay, manufacturing, do you want to go back, or do you want to move to continue in HR, a career? And they were giving me very nice prospects of what would be a career in human resources. And I stayed and got an assignment after 4 years of being HR in Saudi. So that was my first international career. So I went to Jeddah and stayed there for 4 years as a human resources director for Arabian Peninsula. That includes Saudi, the Gulf countries, so Dubai and others, and also Pakistan. So I stayed 4 years in the Middle East, Arabian Peninsula, and got a promotion, a very nice promotion, to become the head of HR for Middle East and Africa in Geneva, Switzerland. So I became the head of HR for Morocco, Saudi, South Africa, Lebanon, Pakistan, Nigeria, Egypt. So I had human resources leaders of the countries reporting to me. And then what the promise of the company stayed and was materializing year by year. A year after I moved to Geneva, the company merged two regions, Middle East and Africa, i.e. mine, with Central Eastern Europe. And I became the vice president for Central Eastern Europe, Middle East and Africa. It's half of the world, so 107 countries from Kazakhstan, Russia to Morocco, South Africa. And I stayed in this job in Geneva for 14 years. And then the company gave me across the globe a global category called Fabric and Home Care. So I became the vice president for human resources, global Fabric and Home Care, and kept a region which is India, Middle East, and Africa. And in 2017, so after 19 years being in Geneva, I moved to Dubai to start working on a very nice project to merge two regions, India, Middle East and Africa, and Asia Pacific. So for 1 year, I was doing every month a trip to Singapore, where the Asia Pacific headquarters is. And at the end, I merged the two regions into one leadership team. And then I said to the company, thank you very much. It's time to retire.
Jamal, what would you say to a young person? Because I work with a lot of young people who really want to go into engineering. And I've had numerous conversations with engineers like yourself. And it seems to be a profession that you're either a good fit for, or it's a profession that you're proficient at, but you're not necessarily the right fit. We see with engineers that it's only when they start working that they realize whether they're the right fit for the role. In reflection to the journey that you've taken when you went from manufacturing to realizing, hey, I'm more of a people person. I'm really thriving, helping with people challenges and dealing with the human factor of the organization. What tips can you offer a student who is really fascinated by the maths and the sciences and is going down that scientific engineering route? What would you offer them as, pointers for noticing what they're most interested in, as just taking a career path that seems good on paper?
Yeah, I think, thank you for asking this question, because I think that's the essence of what I do hope will be the takeaway from this discussion for the students. But I want to clarify first upfront. I consider myself as being a fit also in engineering and in manufacturing, because I had a successful career in manufacturing. And I could have continued and had probably the same career in manufacturing or in engineering in P&G. It's just that I opted for the one that not only I'm capable of doing, because I'm not inventing it, that's what I was told, but I had the passion for it. And therefore, my first message to the students is, at one stage, go for for the field where you have a passion, because you can be capable in different fields. but you will have the passion for one or two. Okay, go for one of these two. Why? Because not only you are capable, but because you love it, you will be outstanding at it. You will be a king. That's what one of my bosses told me, because at one stage I was offered to become a general manager, but he told me you can be successful, but in HR you are a king, and you are a king because you're capable and you have the passion for it. So that's the first message, the passion. However, let me step back. For students, frankly speaking, if you are good at maths and science, go for it, because initially it's about studies. So go for the studies. If you like to do engineering studies, do it, because you are good at it. Certainly you have the passion for it. It will develop an analytical mind, a critical mind, which are going to be very important for your job. And then, once you have the diploma in engineering or science, the good news is that you can do everything. Why? Because you have a good mind. What you are missing is the skills, the experience you will be developing over time. I know engineers who joined P&G directly in finance, directly in sales, directly in human resources, without doing any engineering job. I did engineering job initially, without, and became very successful at it. I know engineers who did marketing, and marketing is an up or out function in P&G, at least used to be. And I know engineers who were very successful. What does it take? You need to have a very good analytical mind, a good critical mind, and then what is important is to have the character that will make you be an influential leader, okay, and have the right attitude. And the right attitude is being positive, being open to learn, being open to do mistakes and learn from them, be humble, be good and respectful with people, be principled, be driven by a value system. These are the ingredients that will make you grow and succeed in life, not only professionally, but also personally.
Amazing. Jamal, you're in HR. You have seen right at the front line what an organization like Procter Gamble looks for in a fresh graduate. You talked about being open to learning and being humble and having good manners and respect and being driven by those values. But what should a fresh graduate have on a CV that will make them competitive?
First of all, we do look at the academics, okay? But it's not the most critical one. The academics are sometimes important because P&G will target campuses to go and do presentations and meet students. So, for example, in the Middle East, there are universities where P&G will go and do presentations. In Dubai, it would be the American University of Sharjah, American University of Cairo, American University of Beirut. But not only this, they would be open to other schools. So we are not only academically oriented. I think in the CV, you need to show that you have had evidences of leading projects. Okay, so leadership, okay, of being curious, and of having developed your character. And this is seen through the projects or the experience you have gone through. So, for example, if you are, if you have been member of an association, that is very good, because there are students who have only academics. That's not enough. You need to show that you are proactive, that you are curious, that you can contribute to the society, and that you have leadership skills. And then that's the CV. Then obviously we will do our proper assessment through tests and through interviews.
Amazing.
And the interviews, myself, I've had several years of interviewing. I look always at the attitude of the person. And it's very easy to see in how the person presents himself or herself and how he or she answers the questions. It happened to me to turn down a brilliant student simply because he was arrogant in the interview.
It's interesting that you say that, because I see this a lot with the youth. Sometimes they're so stuck on their academics and they almost identify with getting the A grade. How do you see that, you know, in terms of an interview? Would you see that an arrogant interview candidate would be somebody who believes that their identity is really wrapped around their academic achievement, or does arrogance come through in how they answer the questions, and how would you describe that? Because I know somebody will be watching this thinking, well, how you know, how does the interviewer translate my behavior as being arrogant? Maybe I'm nervous, maybe I'm just doing what I've been taught to do, is be proud of my high-ranking university diploma or my high level of GPA. How would you respond to that?
No, I always like high academic scores. So no issue. That's very good. And go for it. Frankly, go for it. Because that shows that you want to achieve the best. Go for it. It's not the only factor, but go for it. It's not also an eliminating factor, but go for it. Arrogance is somebody who is overly, excessively confident. And it shows in the way he looks at you, she looks at you, how the answers are. In the specific examples I told you, the person was showing to me that I was bothering him with my questions. That the questions, why are you asking me these questions? I mean, I am the interviewer. It's my right to ask any question as long as I'm respecting you. So arrogance comes, I would say you need to be proud of your achievements. You need to be showing them, but don't be narcissistic. Okay? And when you are narcissistic, you are excessively confident, and you what you do is you put the people in front of you not at ease. And this is important in the career, because you will be dealing with people. You will be dealing with your colleagues, you will be dealing with your bosses, you will be dealing with your subordinates, and they have to feel that you are not arrogant. Humility is very important. Being proud is good, But being arrogant is different, because when you are arrogant, you put off the people who deal with you, up, down, and horizontally.
Amazing.
So it's in the attitude.
Wonderful. Jamala, I could ask you so many questions. Your wealth of wisdom and knowledge is just phenomenal. But I know that we are coming close to the end of our time. Looking back at your career, is there anything that you wish you would have done different now that you've retired?
Very difficult question, and I don't want to sound really arrogant. You know, I have now bumps. You know, Maria, I would have never imagined to be where I am today. I come from a middle to low social class. When I was at school, I could not even afford a croissant while my friends were having a croissant at the break. So I come from a modest background. And where I am today, I mean, so I tell you, I'm now very emotional about it. It's simply, I think I did what I was lucky. I was lucky. I had my difficult moments. I had my bumps. I had my ups and downs in my career. But at the end, I think I had the chance to be in the right company. I trusted my management. I trusted the company. They trusted me, and we had a great partnership. I went for my passion. Many people told me, you're stupid. Why are you moving to human resources? You are a good engineer. This is your background. But I went for my passion, tried to be as good as possible. I listened to my bosses. I listened to my colleagues. Made mistakes, learned from my mistakes, repeated some mistakes, and so on and so forth. Was very ambitious. Ambition is important, but never go above your limits. I knew my limits.
Amazing.
I did not go for it.
I think it's amazing what you've accomplished, and hearing you say in that reflection process that remembering your humble beginnings and feeling really lots of gratitude for what you've accomplished, I believe is something we all strive for when we think about retirement. It's that time when we're looking back and saying, wow, that was a really amazing journey, one that I've learned from and grown from and really truly appreciate. Thank you so much, Jamal.
No, my pleasure. I want to make an offer. As I was retiring, I made to myself 3 promises. One is to take care, spend more time with my wife and with my mom. My mom is in Morocco, because I did not give them enough quality time, although I believe I was present in the important moments, but because of the travel and so on. And second is to serve back. And serve back means help, coach for free. So my offer is to help whoever wants to be coached. I can dedicate a bit of my time. And I'm doing it, by the way, with some youngsters in Dubai, because I'm a member of the Rotary. And 3 is to learn Spanish, and I'm trying. It's very difficult. but I'm trying. So this is my offer.
That's a wonderful offer. Thank you so much. And I definitely know that there will be students that would be so grateful to take you up on that offer. That brings us to the end of a phenomenal spotlight with Jamal Berradia, who is currently retired and shared his career journey with us. 36 years and still thriving, and now giving back and mentoring and coaching young people. So if you were watching this and you're a student of Dubai English Speaking College, take us up on this wonderful opportunity, because I know they don't come around every day, and these are the opportunities that we really want to be taking advantage of. Thank you for watching. Thank you for participating. And I look forward to seeing you all at our next Spotlight Speaking.